kitchen. I am getting set up for my customers tomorrow. Today is Sunday afternoon, very stormy Sunday. And tomorrow I'm making Torresmos for my customers and for my in-laws and a couple other people, so that I cook for. So I thought I would show you. I have this recipe already on my channel, but there's always those new subscribers that come and they don't know that I have that videos already on YouTube, so I figure I better show it. So I have here some pork butt that I cut it into small cubes. I did take some of the big chunks of fat, but I leave some in here. I have 2 cups of burgundy wine. You want a wine, not a sweet wine, but you want a wine that you can drink. And I'm gonna take, I crushed some of the garlic. I put it in my food processor because it's easier. And I try to always have some already done. So probably about, I don't know, a quarter of a cup of crushed garlic. And this is my malagueta that I made it. Also have a video already how I made this. This is very spicy. So I'm gonna probably, usually I don't even measure, but let's say 2 tablespoons of this, because this is very, like again, very spicy. And then my 2 cups of wine. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil, maybe a couple tablespoons. And then I'm gonna put some salt, just because I know my pepper has salt, but pork needs salt. If your pork is not salted good, it doesn't taste right. At least that's for me. And I'm gonna put a little bit of water, maybe a cup of water. And I like to do this the day before, so this will stay in the refrigerator marinated until tomorrow. And then tomorrow I cook this. I'm gonna serve for my customers with boiled potatoes, but for my in-laws and my other couple friends that like this, I'm gonna serve with Inhames and maybe sweet potato. So, and this is called vinhadash. So if you ever heard your grandmother, your parents call vinhadash, that's what it is. It's garlic, pepper, and wine. And I marinate pretty much my meats this way, and that's how my mom did it. So now I'm gonna cover this with plastic, put this in the refrigerator until tomorrow. Welcome, friends. It's a new day here. It's a Monday morning, and I am getting ready to make my Torresmos for some of my customers. And I thought I would show you how I make my Torresmos. I usually use this big roaster because it's big enough and I can transfer. I usually do it in the oven, so I don't have my stove occupied all day, because this is going to take quite a bit of time to do it. So when I get my pork shoulder, there's usually a big thick piece of fat. I cut that out, and I usually put it in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer. And when I have enough, I render that fat and make Torresmos brancos. And then the fat, I stored it in these containers and I keep it in my freezer. My refrigerator. So when I need it for things like this, I already have it. So I probably put here about, I'd say maybe half a cup of, this is pork fat, or we call baña. So I'm gonna render this. I took my Torresmos out of the refrigerator, and they've been out for a little bit. Here's my Torresmos, and I'm gonna put all that into this fat, and then I'm gonna cook this in the oven. and that way I can do other stuff in my stove. Anyway, so that's what we're gonna do this morning. It's early. I usually do this stuff early in the morning, and then I keep it in my oven. My oven, I can keep it warm all day long. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna show you. My fat is hot, and I'm gonna pour all my meat in here. I'm trying to not put a lot of the juice or a lot of the marinade, so it doesn't have a lot of liquid. So I try to squeeze some of the water or the wine, and whew, it's cold. I'm gonna save this juice, that marinade, because I'm gonna put that back in here, but I just want to sear a little bit all this until it starts getting dry, or you know, you kind of start seeing little brown pieces. I have my stove at medium, the flame is at medium. And I'm just gonna let this sit here and mix once in a while, and then I'll show you what's the next step. I'm gonna serve my Torresmos with Inhames or Preheat. That's what their name in English. So I'm gonna scrape a little bit of that hard pieces, and then I'm going to boil all this. There's some like little hairs. I just go with a knife and just scrape a little bit. If you've never cooked this, that's how you do it. I like this with some carrots. For some people, I'm going to serve with carrots. Some is going to be with potatoes. So, anyway, I'm going to clean these and then put them in a pot and boil them. This is my Torresmos. That's what I mean. You want them a little bit dry. So I'm going to keep mixing. And you can see that oil is kind of almost frying. It'll crisp up. So I'm going to keep mixing this, and then I'm going to add the marinade that I had, and I'm going to add more wine and more pepper and maybe a little bit more salt, and I'll show you. So I keep mixing until I see that they're getting a little bit dry. And when I mean dry, they kind of all the same color. They're not cooked. They keep frying in that oil, that banya that I put, that pig's fat. So in here I have my carrot that I'm gonna salt very generously. 2, 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of salt. You want to generously salt it. To my marinade that I had left over, I'm going to add more garlic. I have crushed garlic and oil. And I add at least maybe 2 tablespoons, generous tablespoons. And then I use burgundy wine. And I like this wine because it's not sweet. I'm going to put maybe another cup. And I'm going to mix all this. I have some bay leaves I'm going to add to my marinade. I don't think my mom used to put bay leaves, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. That's optional. So I'm gonna let this, when I see that that liquid is kind of lower, then I'm gonna add the marinade. I'm gonna turn my oven to 350, and then I'm gonna cook this in the oven. I'm gonna cover and cook it in the oven. Because if I cook this here, it would take a long time. All my meat is like this, and now I'm gonna add the juice or the marinade all back in here with all that garlic, and I'm gonna mix this. I'm gonna taste for salt. If I see that it needs more salt, I'm gonna add to it. I'm gonna put a couple teaspoons of salt. Just because I know they need salt. Add my potatoes. I keep the skin, wash them, and cut them in half. And now I'm gonna put 3 teaspoons of salt. Potatoes need salt, and I'm gonna let them boil. So I got my potatoes, got my inhames, show my tare root. This, as soon as the oven is hot, I'm gonna put a lid and put it in the oven. I'm also gonna roast some sweet potatoes. I'm gonna put in the oven at the same time with this. I'm gonna put a little bit more pepper. I don't wanna put too much because this is for customers and they're not used to spice. But if it would have been for us or for my family, I would have put a little bit more pepper, but this is fine. I'm gonna taste one more time, and it's going in the oven. And it'll probably take about an hour to 2 hours. Here it is, friends, my Torresmos with my inhames or tare root, and then roasted sweet potato. This is what's gonna be for my dinner and for some of my customers. I love this meal. And then this inhames, they look so good. This is one of my favorite meals too. When my mom did, when she would do Torresmos, she was not like this. She would make big pots. But I always loved this meal. And she used to make it with boiled potatoes. I made some with boiled potatoes for some of my customers, because they're not used to the inhames or the tare root. So anyway, here it is, another recipe. I already have this recipe on my channel, but there's always those newcomers, those new subscribers coming in, and they don't know. So you make this Torresmos with sweet potatoes and inhames, or tare root, like they call in English. Anyway, you give it a try to this. I will leave the recipe on the description. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. Give me some thumbs up. Share my videos on your social media and with your friends. And until next time, have a good day. Let's get cooking.